So we all want to get things done fast because sometimes that's so frustrating. You're working day in, day out, but things are not moving fast enough, and that can be very frustrating at some point. So I'm going to share with you my secret technique that I have built last year in order to actually get a ton of work done in a very short period of time. But before I do, I'm Tom Forrest and I'm an entrepreneur who is trying to build an online business, automating online business. That's kind of my thing. And so as I go, I share my what I learned, my experience, and so on. And this is exactly what I'm going to do in this video. So before I do so, before you want to apply what I'm going to share, there is one requirement that you need first. You need to be well in your body. What I mean by that is you need to not be in a state of almost burned out. You need to be in a state of I'm feeling fine, I have a lot of energies, I'm good, and just annoyed that things are not moving fast enough. That's the requirement, because this is going to be very draining. This is going to ask a lot of yourself. But if you do it, you will get results stupidly fast. But as I said, if you're not in a state, in mental state, physical state, ready for that, don't do it. That's just kind of disclaimer here. So the idea here is the first thing you want to do is first list. So let's put it that way. One, the first thing you need to do let's put it in. This is to build a task list, but with a very specific thing you are going to see. Task. So my challenge to you is to build a task list to be everything that you want to accomplish over the next 3 months, 3 to 6 months. Like you list all the elements, the core big things that you want to establish. So you have maybe a list of 3 or 5 elements. And those, what you want to do then is deconstruct them into the smallest task possible. As many small tasks as you possibly can. And ideally, you should think of it as tasks that should take somewhere around 2 to 3 days to actually get it done. So you need to deconstruct each of them into actually small tasks that could take maybe up to a week. Let's say, but don't. How I put that? Don't try to compress it. Just an easy guess. Okay, that I can accomplish very easily in X amount of time. Okay, X time. Keep that in mind, because the process is going to get more complex here. So deconstruct that into a lot of little tasks, and then on each task, so you have the main goal, the 5 goals that you want to achieve. Each goal you can deconstruct in a little task. Task 1, T2, T3, T4, T5, and then you give a rough, easy estimate. Okay, I think I can easily do that in 1 week, 3 days. And the idea here, as I said, is not to overestimate yourself. It's better that you underestimate yourself. Okay, you will see afterward. So maybe 1 week. This one is going to take 3 days. This one might take 2 weeks. And so when I say 1 week is 5 business days, that's just 5 business days. That's what we are talking about. So that's equal to 5 days, and that's equal to 10 days. That's really important that you are able to quantify the amount of days. You will see just after why, but you have the task and you have the amount of days that you believe is going to take. Okay. Now, that's the first step. Then, the second step. you're going to what I call compress your timeline. What I want you to do now is every single task that you have listed, you divide the number of days by 5. So a task that should have taken 1 week, 5 days, the goal is to get it done in one day. So 5 days to 1 day. That's kind of the requirement here. So that's why I said to you, don't overestimate yourself. It's better that you underestimate yourself, okay? You have to chill. Okay, I can comfortably, without stressing myself, do it in X amount of days. Because now we are talking serious. You're going from 1 week of work to try to get it done in 1 day. That's the key. Yeah. So you go through all your list. You compress your timeline to try to have everything divided by 5. And so for the thing that took less than a day, it means that's about in terms of hours. So it's like 1/5. If that's 1 day, that's 1/5 of a day, pretty much. So that's something you need to do fast. So that's kind of the idea here. So now that you have everything in place, you know pretty much, okay, that's all the things I need to get done, and that's how I need to get them done. What you're going to do now for the last piece, you are going to build your calendar for the next. I just want to remember because we are doing cycles. We are doing cycles, and so let's put it that way. Yeah, build your calendar. I'm going to explain it. So how it works is you're building cycles of 2 weeks on. When I say on, that's on. For 2 weeks, 14 days, and that's not the business day I was talking about here. That's actual days. And so 14 days, 2 weeks, where you are going to do all the tasks. You're going to put the task in the right order that you need to get them done, one after the other, and you are going to do them for 14 days straight, from the time you wake up and from the time you go to bed, and you're only going to do that, nothing else. For those 2 weeks, nothing else matters. You wake up, you do it, and then you go to bed and you do it again for the next day, and you do that for 2 weeks straight. Then, so 2-week work, and then you have 1 week of total rest. You chill. Okay, that's really important because we are going to do that for 3 cycles. For 3 cycles, you are going to do 2 weeks of obscene amount of work, and 1 week you can still work, but honestly that's better if you don't. Just relax, enjoy, spend time with family and so on. And this is rest. And the reason it works is that's not sustainable. The amount of work I'm asking you to do is period not sustainable. So if your mind doesn't have an escape thinking that this is not going to last forever, you will not. That's going to be difficult for yourself to push through, to get yourself to keep going. And also you need that rest, that both for your body, your mental health, and your health in general. But because you are doing 14 days of straight work where you are trying to get things done as fast as humanly possible, you're going to get so much things done that keeping that little week of rest, it won't be that big of a deal. And then you're doing that for 3 cycles. Which means you're doing that for 9 weeks, where you have 8 weeks, because the last week is actually a week off, so pretty much you just come back to your usual thing. But that's mainly how it works. And the reason it works is because on top of being an entrepreneur, actually I'm a professional athlete. And so this is the idea of periodization that we use as professional athletes in order to get the most out of ourselves in terms of performance. And what is important is have time where you're focused and you're putting 100% of the effort, and time where you're chilling and resting. Because the reason why you're not getting results as fast as you would like is because you're working week after week after week after week. And so you're trying to sustain a high level, but your body subconsciously knows that it cannot sustain a high level. So it kind of prevents yourself from giving too much. And so you're working on a kind of suboptimal level that you can sustain forever, but that doesn't actually produce a ton of results. But when you're actually planning high intense work with a lot of rest in between, you can develop an outstanding amount of work and work resilience also, because the more you will do that, the better you'll get at it, and the more you will be able to sustain those 2 weeks of high intensity work. And because you're periodically giving yourself rest, you allow yourself to perform even better when it's time to work. That's kind of the way it works. So that's, in a nutshell, how my system works. And honestly, every time I get sick of the fact that I'm not moving as fast as I want, I do it. But here's the deal. So you pretty much can get done 6 months of work in just 9 weeks, for sure. But what I really advise you to do is not push beyond 3 cycles. Because what happens is that's so demanding on your body that you will build systemic fatigue over time. And so that's why those cycles exist both in terms of weeks, but also in terms of months. Here, that's about you are doing it for 2 months straight, with 2 weeks in between to rest. And then what happens is you need at least a month of normal work to let your body, your mind recover from those high intense work that you've done. So you don't do it you do 3 cycles on and a cycle off. Let's put it that way. On, 1 cycle off. That's kind of the way you do. And then you can do it over. Or maybe that will depend honestly on you. How much you feel recovered and ready to go for another round. Maybe sometime you will need actually 2 cycles off in order. When I say off, that doesn't mean you don't work. You work, but you work as usual without pushing yourself to the limit. And maybe sometime you will need actually two of those cycles to actually be completely ready to do it again. That's something to just keep in mind. Anyway, that's kind of it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.